She will come back, but not due to pleas, persistence, or proclamations of your value. She'll return when you cease all efforts. Master this single principle, and her thoughts will unravel. Her pride will yield, and the quiet will resonate more profoundly than any declaration of longing. Because fundamentally, women don't return to affection. They return to vitality. The instant your vitality pivots from dependence on her to self-mastery, the dynamic transforms. 1. Cease justifying your merit. In the aftermath of loss, most men repeat the identical error. They attempt to persuade. They believe the perfect phrasing, the demonstration of devotion, will elicit comprehension. You compose extensive messages, bare your soul, anticipating she'll finally discern your worth. But attraction doesn't operate through rationale. Women reconnect via sentiment. And once that sentiment has evaporated, your eloquence, however profound, fails to penetrate. It rebounds as mere static. You cannot compel her to experience what has vanished. That's not fortitude. It's vulnerability masquerading as optimism. The harder you labor to validate your merit, the more it appears you doubt it intrinsically. Authentic merit doesn't advocate. It simply exists. By pleading for your worth, you inadvertently diminish it. You signal, I require your endorsement to feel secure. And that's precisely what erodes desire. She isn't seeking comprehension at present. She craves the void of your absence. She must experience existence devoid of your voice, your essence, your vitality. So, halt the justifications. Abandon that draft. Refrain from the, I just want closure message, for closure resides not in her responses. It resides in your reticence. The most potent action now is utter silence. Allow the quiet to advocate on your behalf. Let your composure eclipse your turmoil. When you desist from justification, her psyche alters. She anticipated pursuit, elaboration, resistance. Your inaction disrupts her equilibrium. She begins pondering, was I truly that significant? Has he already advanced? That's where intrigue emerges. And intrigue draws her back more swiftly than any communication. Thus, internalize this, you don't demonstrate merit through rhetoric. You reveal it via restraint, serenity, understated assurance. When you cease defending your value, she begins to perceive it anew. That's the irony. You abandon the quest for understanding, and abruptly she attunes. Genuine authority doesn't pursue validation. It remains steadfast, permitting others to acknowledge it independently. And when that acknowledgement dawns, it stems not from your exposition. It arises from your reticence. 2. Retract your vitality entirely. Here's what most men overlook. She doesn't miss you in your absence. She misses the attentiveness you provided. It's not your dialogue, humor, or mere proximity she initially yearns for. It's your vitality. That consistent flow of emotional availability she grew accustomed to, the midnight responses, the dawn greetings, the solicitude when she withdrew, that vitality nourished something within her. And when you abruptly withdraw it, her reality tilts. It feels vacant because, consciously or not, she cultivated subtle routines around your focus, verifying if you viewed her story, questioning your lack of response to her update, pondering the absence of your notification. But here's the key. You cannot retract your vitality partially. You cannot declare finality while nightly perusing her profile. You cannot feign detachment yet respond instantaneously to her probes. To reclaim authority, you must vanish wholly. Not in resentment, but in quietude. This isn't ghosting. It's redirecting your vitality inward. The hours awaiting her messages, invest in self-construction. The effort chasing her dispositions, channel into discipline. When you cease supplying her attentiveness, that emotional vacuum begins to reverberate. That quietude will unsettle her, as she anticipated your fragility. She anticipated your collapse in her absence. When it fails to materialize, her thoughts grow restless. She'll question whether she held the significance she presumed. That's when intrigue evolves into remorse. Avoid her stories. Ignore scant offerings. Disregard provocations. Not from bitterness, but because your tranquility surpasses her fleeting focus. She departed. Permit her to confront what she abandoned. Allow her to grasp that reticence from a resolute man outweighs any longing message. When you fully reclaim your vitality, not partially, but wholly, she'll sense the disparity. True absence isn't mere separation, it's void. And once she encounters it, she'll yearn to replenish it. That's when she'll contemplate you in unprecedented ways. Your reticence isn't penalty. It's authority. Wield it. 3. Don't simulate serenity. Embody it. Poise isn't feigning wellness. It's genuine wellness. Even if she never returns, initially you'll seek to mimic it. You'll project composure, share updates, act as if you've progressed, yet inwardly hope she observes. That's not poise. That's theater. And women detect the distinction. When your vitality is turbulent, she perceives it. When your peace is contrived, she intuits it. No need to articulate. She'll sense it in your quietude, your dialogue, your gaze. Authentic serenity cannot be fabricated. It must be cultivated. How? Through acceptance. Cease evading the event. Cease disputing reality. Permit the ache, then release it. That's the challenge, to endure pain without response. Because serenity doesn't imply emotional numbness. It implies not being governed by emotion. Upon attaining that emotional maturity, something fascinating occurs. You become enigmatic. You cease responding to her lures. You stop self-justification. You abandon narrative control. That enigma unsettles her assurance, as she anticipated disorder, not tranquility. Poise is a psychological catalyst. The feminine psyche is attracted to contrast, to enigma. She won't fixate on the perpetually reactive man. She fixates on the unreadable one, the one responding with subdued strength rather than emotional frenzy. Don't confuse serenity with apathy. You may still cherish her, wish her well, yet no longer seek her approval. That distinguishes healers from performers. The healed man needn't broadcast his wellness. His tranquility articulates itself. When she probes, and she will, via casual notes, emotional lures, or subtle advances, resist the bait. She's not verifying affection. She's testing control. The more you remain anchored, the more her illusion of dominance erodes. Eventually, she'll experience something absent for some time, respect. That's what serenity commands. And respect, not affection, draws a woman back. So cease simulating serenity. Embody it. Because when your peace is authentic, she cannot disregard it. And once undeniable, it becomes indelible. 4. Prioritize evolution, not reconciliation. Most men target the erroneous objective. They crave reconciliation. They desire her return. They envision the narrative concluding as it began, with her selecting them anew. But that fixation traps you in the emotional cycle that repelled her initially. You cannot lure her back as the man she departed. You must surpass him. That's the strategic shift. Begin by inquiring, who was I prior to losing myself in her? Somewhere, you ceased directing your life. You began revolving around hers. You halted training, reading, advancing. You grew foreseeable, complacent, emotionally reliant. The iteration she ultimately rejected. Thus, reconstruct not for her, but for yourself. Hone your physique, concentration, intellect. Rectify sleep, routine, habits. Rediscover the purpose eclipsed when she became your universe. Gradually, imperceptibly, you transform. And here's the revelation. She will detect it, not via broadcasts, but through your altered vitality. Women are magnetized to advancement, particularly in quietude. When she observes your renewed radiance, your lighter demeanor, your gaze free of desperation, her perspective shifts. Advancement generates emotional contrast. She questions her judgment. She wonders, did I misjudge him? Did I undervalue him? That's evolution's potency. You're no longer pursuing her return. You're becoming the man she's naturally drawn to. But authenticity is essential. You cannot gym merely for updates, hoping she notices. You cannot feign growth to score points. That remains validation seeking in healing skies. True evolution occurs when her observation ceases to matter. You pursue it because your essence demands ascension. And that's the irony. When you genuinely abandon the pursuit of her return, that's when she feels the magnetism. Don't chase reconciliation. Pursue transformation, because upon her potential return, it should be to a man transcending need for her presence. 5. Allow time to articulate. Time is the subtlest instructor. It neither debates nor hastens. It unveils truth gradually. Upon departure, your impulse is rapid resolution, contact before oblivion. But that's anxiety speaking. You fear quietude will propel her forward. Yet quietude alone prompts reflection. Initially, in silence, she feels liberation. She convinces herself of correctness. That you've ceased. But permit duration. Gradually, liberation morphs into intrigue. Intrigue into bewilderment. Bewilderment into emotional unease. That initiates the pivot. She replays instances, reviews past exchanges, questions your silence. Not immediate longing, but disruption from expecting your persistence, and its absence unsettles. Here's where most falter. They shatter silence prematurely. They dispatch the, "How are you?" just as intrigue crests. Thus resetting the cycle. Time resembles gravitation. The longer its influence, the mightier. Each silent day amplifies contrast. Each week intensifies absence's gravity. You're not disregarding. You're granting space to apprehend life sans your essence. And something profound stirs within her. Unacknowledged, yet the separation, the hush, gnaws, as women process loss gradually. It emerges when you no longer occupy the void. So, don't resist time. Harness it. Permit her contemplation. Permit her to confront her decisions' repercussions uninterrupted. No messages. No inquiries via acquaintances. Remain stationary, for quietude plus duration equals introspection. And introspection yields insight. If destined, time will deliver her. Not your pleas, not entreaties, but the amplified void. That's when recollection surfaces. Not your volume, but your carried peace. 6. Compel her to bridge the divide. Here's the stark reality. She forged the chasm. Let her traverse it. Each withdrawal, you hastened to seal it. You initiated contact. You atoned for uncommitted acts. You sought resolution because silence terrified. But that eroded respect. She never bore loss's burden, as you prevented the divide's expansion. Henceforth, maintain position. Don't occupy with justifications. Don't seal with reassurances. Allow the chasm to widen. Allow it to resound. Therein lies the pivot. When the perpetual pursuer halts, her emotional rhythm disrupts. Her pride falters. Wait, he's ceased advocating. That ambiguity undermines control. Women undervalue constant availability. They prize scarcity. In scarcity, value resurfaces. And value isn't declared. It's experienced. This isn't chill or malice. It's ceasing emotional labor. Cease initiating. Ignore fragments. Cease awaiting her to bridge what she created. When she senses emotional separation, self-doubt emerges. She'll ponder your advancement. Pride fractures. Intrigue becomes pursuit. Victory isn't crossing to her. It's remaining anchored, serene, unperturbed, inviting her approach. Compel her to re-earn your vitality. Not as manipulation, but self-worth recognition. Upon crossing, it won't stem from remorse. It will from realizing the non-pursuer is unforgettable. 7. The return is probable, but not the aim. If executed precisely, the quietude, poise, advancement, she'll return. Perhaps not immediately, perhaps not soon, but inevitably. Because such vitality endures. It persists. It lingers. But upon arrival, the query isn't her return, but your desire. You'll differ. The former supplicant now exudes subdued assurance. The chaser now selects. That's the unforeseen evolution. She'll probe with banter. Feign casualness. Test accessibility. Upon doing so, don't hasten entry. Reveal the evolved self. The one independent of her approval. The one whose peace is unassailable, even by her. Sensing this, she'll experience beyond desire, respect. That's women's true return motivator. Not ease, not familiarity, respect. Don't boast. Don't recall her loss. Simply inhabit your constructed peace. The peaceful man has triumphed. That's the irony. When her return ceases to matter, that's precisely when it occurs. But upon occurrence, don't revert. Don't diminish for retention. Don't revive scars for novelty. Introduce her to the complete self, no longer reliant on her affection. The true objective was never her resurgence. It was yours, to self. Upon witnessing, she'll grasp something harsh yet exquisite. She didn't abandon you. She catalyzed the man beyond her grasp. That's the victory. Not her return, but your renaissance. You require no validation for worth. No message for vitality. No presence for peace. Because ceasing love's pursuit attracts it. Not via entreaty, justification, proof, but mastering silence's eloquence. So permit her return if fated. But on your conditions, not from anguish. The aim was never inducing longing. It was self-reclamation. And upon achieving that serene, immovable self, clarity emerges. You didn't lose her. You shed the needy version. And that is renaissance. If this resonated, share with one needing it. Share thoughts below. Subscribe. And anticipate more on InspireX Motivation, where psychology intersects peace and silence becomes your